back to another episode of 12-inch Figure Fanatic. Today we're going to be taking a look at Killer Anton from Star Toys. This is Anton, the crazy guy from that wonderful but kind of slow movie, No Country for Old Men. Let's take a look what we got here. I'm very excited. And I'm also going to do a comparison at the end with a custom that I have and see which one matches up as better. It's going to be close, I think, but we'll see. All right, so nothing special about the box. It's not one of those magnetic covers that turns into a backdrop, but Anton doesn't really need a backdrop anyway. He mostly played in the dark. All right, let's see here. All right, so at first glance, I mean, the head sculpt's pretty decent. It doesn't, the paint job is not kind of outstanding. The sculpt itself is just fine, but there's something that lacks in the depth of the eyes. One thing I notice is it lacks the appropriate gloss, so that's an easy fix, is gloss in the eyes a little bit, but they just look kind of flat, especially compared to the skin. There's really no dimension to the eyes. The hair is, I mean, pretty standard. Nothing outstanding about the way they painted the hair. Yeah, and they got the long sideburns there as well. The jacket, jean jacket. No interior lining, but no big deal. And then you got the brown shirt underneath. Standard dexterity on the hands. Some pliability on the fingers, good for holding things. I don't remember if his boots were on the outside or inside during the film, and I'll have to look at some reference photos to make sure, because my custom doesn't have the boots. It has the pants tucked in. So, but the sculpt on the boots is very nicely done. Not too much in the way of weathering, but at least they have a lot of the stitching value completed with the way they painted it. Also no weathering on the bottom. It's just a pure single sculpt boot. They could have done this out of simulated leather and stitched it, but I mean, we can argue about which one would look better in the end. I think it satisfies the intent, the way they did it. Yeah, good bend on the legs and arms. A little stiff on the arms. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so it looks like we've got another pair of pants here. On the surface, it seems like he wore the same clothes the entire film, but he did have some slight variation from the start to the end in the clothing he wore. So there's a pair of pants and another belt. Here's an alternate head sculpt. Now, I didn't think they needed to include it. I mean, there's a few seconds in the beginning of the film where he's got this smiling face as he's choking the sheriff in the police station, but almost all of us are not going to pose this figure lying down with the strangle position. So to have him standing like this is just not accurate to the character, and I don't know. It was unnecessary to include, I think. All right, we got the famous, I don't know what you call this, but the puncture tank and they used on animals that he killed people with. So there's pretty good detail on this. The thing doesn't come out at all, the punching thing, but they really did a good job at doing the connecting points. The tank itself is nicely weathered. So very good job on that. And the knob doesn't turn, no big deal. But this is sort of a very, very pliable, like rubber tubing almost, plastic, but it feels like rubber almost. So it's definitely got some bend to it. No need to worry about breaking that. I would say that this is probably a little bit delicate, these two end areas. It's got some good weight to it. It feels like it might be solid. But it might have some hollowness to it, but it's got a good quality to it. And of course you have the shotgun with the silencer at the end. I love the way this thing sounded in the film. It just got me going every time I heard that thing go off. I love the sound of a silenced weapon. So no pump action here. I have some 6-scale weapons that have pump action and some movement. This is just a solid sculpt. The silencer doesn't even come off, but it's got well enough detailing to it. Yeah, pretty nice there. All right, set of handcuffs. He used that at the beginning of the film as well. Like I said, on the head sculpt, you know, some of these things are brief. I wouldn't use this, but this is nice to have. This could be used for other figures. I'm thinking namely of the handcuffs I currently have on my 7 set, the Kevin Spacey figure kneeling at the end. All right, got several options for hand variations here. So, and they all have the same bendability. I hate when they're too stiff. And then finally you got the stand. I imagine because it is unlicensed that they didn't have a sticker on here or paint on here showing the film or even the name Anton. But standard, you can go on eBay and get something custom made on eBay, or you can make your own. So I'd probably do that to this. But that's pretty much it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at side by side with my custom one, and I'll give you some final thoughts. All right, and here's my custom on the left here, next to the one I've just reviewed. Some key differences here. One of them is the head sculpt itself. Now, obviously, there's no arguing who this is, and it definitely looks like Javier Bardem. This one, though, I don't know. It looks like a special person. That's all I'll say. It doesn't really look like him, although there is more depth to the painting, more depth to the eyes, because that was one key complaint I had about the other head sculpt. Definitely needs some improvement there. Also, the hair looks a little bit better sculpted here than on this one, as far as the sculpt itself, not the paint. Also, there's some key differences in the clothing. So this one is a little bit more reddish, while this one is a little bit more brown. I did some reference photo comparisons, and the brown is the more accurate color, not red. But it's hard to tell in this video actually, but they're also different in the denim jackets. It's supposed to be dark, and this is more of a dark black, while this one's more of it's almost like a little bit darker than a charcoal gray. But like I said, it's hard to tell in the video. Also, the belt on both of them are too thin. It's a very cheap belt that they did with the Star Toys one. So I'd probably add a different belt, buy something off the internet for that. The pants, I mean, they're pretty similar. The cut is pretty similar. Definitely a difference in the boots. Okay, definitely these are accurate to the film, and I did pull the pants out of the boot because nowhere in the film does he have his pants tucked in, as I suspected. Definitely a difference in the tanks. All right, so this one's way too thin, and this one is slightly too thick, but just about right. Also, I do like the sculpting and the painting on the handle area. But one complaint I have about this one is the tubing is sort of transparent red, and it should be opaque like this one. And this one, the custom, they actually used a electrical wire and just put an electrical wire in there. And I think it looks a lot better. Oops. What else is there? Okay, so the another note is these pants. Now he wears them briefly in the film, but if you're gonna be accurate to the film, he wears them when he's handling the silenced shotgun. But if you want to use the most iconic scene where he's going to that old man driving the car, pulls him over with the police car, this is the look you want to go for. But one other slight criticism that I have about this Star Ace figure, and most people probably wouldn't notice this, but he carries the tank in his left hand and carries the shooter thing in his right hand. So he's right-handed. The way that the hand sculpts are for this figure, you have to do it the opposite way, like I have displayed here. So you can't do it like that. So small thing, hardly worth mentioning, but you might notice it as well. But otherwise, I'm going to have to give this figure a pretty good score. I'm going to say an 8.8 out of 10. Yeah. The biggest criticism is just the choice that material they used for the line on the tank. But otherwise, great figure. Anyways, tune in next time. I got a few figures that came in, so I'll be doing some videos back to back. Catch you all later.